Square in the Round podcast. My wife listened to one of these.
What did she think?
She likes you better than me. She says, Chris Kelly here, there's BB Shea. She likes you, and she likes, I tell you, if you keep wearing shirts like this, look out.
I'm telling you, man.
You've got it.
I'm trying to grow up a little bit, you know?
It looks good. It looks really good. Are you still doing your workouts?
Still doing workouts, yeah. I'm going I think I'm going to go 4 to 5 times a week.
I love it.
No Friday. That's my off day. It's my cheat day.
Love
and
it.
Monday I play golf.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You know what I heard today at the gym? Here's a great saying for you. You didn't come this far to come this far.
Ooh, that's a bar right there.
Darn right, it's good.
I like that.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
We recently lost Bob Barker.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you into game show hosts?
Yes.
Okay.
I've watched a lot of Price is Right growing up.
He was a quintessential, phenomenal game show host.
Yes.
I mean, and I've been talking about this since he passed.
Yeah.
If you've got a Mount Rushmore of game show hosts, I think Bob Barker is on it.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
I think Alex Trebek is on it.
I agree 100%.
Now, who do you put in the last two slots? Because I said Sajak, but I got a lot of pushback.
Well, see, I'm from a different generation.
I know you are.
I like Pat Sajak. I would put Pat Sajak on there.
Mm-hmm.
My last one would be Mark Summers.
Oh, my God.
Because he did all that stuff on Nickelodeon for so long, and that's what I grew up watching was Mark Summers.
Yes. I know him. You are from a different generation.
Yeah.
That's why I thought you might be a Summers man.
Double Dare, all that stuff, yes.
God, yeah, I don't know him. I feel like, but see, you don't know like Match Game with Gene Rayburn.
But I would Steve Harvey, he's more my generation. Even like Louis Anderson.
Well, Louis Anderson was atrocious.
Yeah. I think everybody agreed he wasn't great.
God, I hate to say it, he's passed. We lost Louis Anderson.
Yeah.
Who saw that coming?
I know, right? I don't know.
Louis Anderson was a comedian when I was a kid, when I was growing up. Then he became the host of Family Feud. He was an awful host. He could barely even point at the board.
That's my view. You
remember that? He'd be like, survey.
But you never saw Coming to America, did you?
No, I did not.
He was in Coming to America.
He was.
Yes.
He was he still alive for the reboot of Coming to America?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't even finish that.
It was that bad?
It was terrible.
Do you know why? I heard, the reason he was in Coming to America? The studio had to have one white guy in it.
Really?
They must have a white guy.
Was he the only white guy in that movie?
One of the few. But, they wouldn't let, and this is 1986 or so, and they wouldn't let Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall have a movie with no white guys
Other than the cab driver when they first got to America, I think he was the only other white guy in the movie.
They had to have.
Wow, that's funny.
And they chose him. I think he had worked with Eddie, because they were contemporary comedians and all that. But the poor man, he had some talent. By the time he got to actually pointing at the board, he could no longer point at the board. Bonus game.
But he was the first person I ever saw in Family Feud.
Wow. Well, you missed Richard Dawson.
Yeah.
Richard Dawson, you talk about something you couldn't do today. He kissed every single female contestant.
I have seen old clips on the old game show network of Richard Dawson. He would go up and make out with those young women.
And they loved it. They wanted to.
They couldn't get enough
listen
of
to me,
it.
male chauvinist. But seriously, they would. I mean, the women would put their lips out. That was like the thing. Oh, you want to be kissed by Richard Dawson.
There were a few times where I'm like, dude, that was a little much, man.
The point that was made to me about not putting Sajak on the Mount Rushmore of game show hosts is you watch Wheel of Fortune. It's the number one game all time.
Yeah.
For me, consistency, number one game all time.
Yeah.
I put him there. But someone said to me, and I think I agree with this, do you watch it for the host or for the game? The game is so great. The host, like Steve Harvey, really makes Family Feud.
True.
To me, Feud has had several hosts of the year. What's his name we were just talking about was really, really good. Richard Dawson.
Yeah.
Great. Mm-hmm. He was the game.
Yeah.
Steve Harvey is the game. I mean, he's so good at it. There's a guy named Ray Combs who did a very nice job. He died young. But then you've got like some of these other guys, and it's like, it's no good. The host makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I think just a steady hand is Pat Sajak. The other thing is like Gene Rayburn from Match Game. He was the game.
But I think for something like Jeopardy, Alex Trebek was the game. And even we're proving that now, where
it's
you're getting people to come in and fill in. It's just not the same.
It's taking a real step.
And I don't know if it's because we're so used to Alex Trebek, but he just had, I don't know, an aura about him when he was up there.
He transcended the game when he did like the Saturday Night Live stuff.
Yes,
that was hilarious. And for Bob Barker, he's in Happy Gilmore.
Yes, yep.
I hate Adam Sandler movies.
I know.
How's that for a hot take?
You didn't like that? That's a hot take.
I did not like that movie.
I mean, he's got plenty of stinkers, but he got some classics, too.
I hate Adam Sandler movies. In fact, I think Happy Gilmore's awful.
If you had to pick one Adam Sandler movie, it'd be your favorite.
I like his dramas, but the Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems was great,
I really enjoyed that.
Did you ever see Punch Drunk Love?
I didn't like that.
That's one of his more serious roles. I loved that movie.
I hated that. I hated that one. But I really hate Happy Gilmore. Waterboy, I despise. And doesn't he? Maybe it's not him. I never liked any. The ones with the guy who died, who's really over. Chris Farley. What is it?
Black Sheep of Tommy Boy.
Tommy. Oh God.
Oh my gosh.
I hate those.
You've got no soul, man. What the hell?
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
We were talking about Richard Dawson kissing those women. Do you know this controversy? By the time this drops, it may be over with that Spanish. You may not know this.
I'm not familiar. No.
It's gonna be hard for me to explain. The Spain just won the Women's World Cup.
Yes.
A little while back. Okay, when they were going through, like, shaking hands, like they were hugging and shaking hands, the players were with the head of the soccer in Spain. The woman that scored the winning goal, he took her by the head, and he was like, yeah, and then he kissed her right on the lips.
Okay.
And later, she said, I'm very uncomfortable with that. I want him fired.
Okay.
And you're young, so you're probably like, good, fire the SOB. But I think a suspension is warranted, and I do think it's inappropriate, but I think he was caught up in the moment. Like,
I think that if she would have come out, the person who was kissed, and said, oh, it was caught up in the moment, I didn't mind, blah, 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 I think it probably would have been swept under the rug.
Agreed.
The fact that she came out and said it was uncomfortable, then yes, okay, I feel like he deserves to be fired for that.
Well, it's too bad, too, because it really took away from their win.
It did.
There's a lot of controversy about it swirling, and as we tape this, he's been suspended 90 days. I think by the time this drops, he'll have been fired.
Probably so.
It's a real possibility.
It's unfortunate, but no, I agree. I agree with that.
Last week, we were talking about your lack of money.
Yes.
And your...
Nothing's changed, by the way.
Well, that shirt sure speaks for you.
This is on sale, man.
Well, I like that.
It's on sale, yeah.
I think it's great. I read something sometimes online. This is a Reddit thing. Random shower thoughts. You've probably seen that kind of thing. Random shower thoughts. And one of them was this. I thought of you because you're Gen Z or millennial. There should be a millennial edition of Monopoly where you just walk around the board paying rent and never accumulate any assets.
Never buying any property. That's exactly what it is.
You never actually own anything. You always live with someone else, and you always pay rent that's too high.
That game is becoming more and more of a game.
That's your life. It should be BB-opoly.
Yes.
And we should put your face in the middle of it with your bearded face, with your perfectly round head. Mm-hmm. The game board should be round like your head.
Instead of going to prison, you move back in with your parents.
Yeah, instead of jail.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Every time you cross go, you pay $200 instead of getting $200.
Call it Milopoly.
Yeah, Milopoly.
And make it that way because the economy is so you're so in trouble if you're under 30 years old. It
would be strictly novelty because it wouldn't be fun at all. It'd be depressing.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
No one
wins.
It'd
be depressing as hell.
There's never a win. You just go around the board.
Yes.
And then eventually you die.
You're just pissing in the wind essentially, and then you pass out. Yes.
That's the way to make it. We just thought of something.
There we go. And you got to figure out new ways to implement the game pieces. What the hell's a thimble? Who just thimbles anymore?
You got to get a new game piece.
You know what I'm saying? Or a top hat.
What would the game piece? We have to be very
probably like a pair of Jordans. That would be one of them.
Right. Yeah.
A 98 Honda Civic would be one of them.
It should be things that you could never afford, but that you buy an iPhone.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely be an iPhone.
Have that walking around the board. This is a good idea.
We're going to develop this.
Milopoly. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I had you and I both watched Shark Tank.
Yeah.
See if you think this would work. I play a lot of pickleball. Mm-hmm. In the summer, and I'm sure this happens with tennis and definitely baseball too, the paddle, the end of it gets so sweaty because you've been out there playing for so long. Well, some guy one day had a fan out there, and I put my paddle in front of it. Well, it dried it off in about 5 minutes. What if you could take that technology and put it in something battery-powered, like that you stick your hands in the bathroom of a restaurant or something?
Yeah.
And it just dries it off within 30 seconds. Is that there's a Shark Tank idea for you.
Well, don't they already do that with, like, nails? With, like, when women go get their nails done, they put their hands under the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Do it for that, but make it just so that it fits, it just fits in the little slot, and that's it. And then you've dried your paddle off.
Do you not use, like, stick 'em or anything?
I do that.
Yeah.
I like it, but it just makes it real sticky.
Yeah.
It's okay, but you have to do it every so often, and it just makes it really.
What if
sticky.
you just like tape your hand to the paddle?
Thought about it.
Yeah.
Again, you've got a sticky, nasty type thing. Anyway, I don't know. I'm thinking outside the box. I want to be on Shark Tank.
I got you. Yeah.
Eventually, I want to be.
Maybe
on
this
Shark Tank.
Millennialopoly will be the one that'll get you there.
Now that I like.
Yeah.
I think that's a
good idea too.
That's something really good. Here's a new thing that young people are doing, and I just saw this term last week. I think you and I talked about it once. You should master date. You should do this. I don't know if you do. I think you should master date at least once a week.
2 or 3 times a week.
Now, if you don't know what that is, this is a new thing, especially young people are doing, where they can't find love, or there's not a woman in your life right now. Surely not. No.
So, I love how you just assumed, but you're probably right. Yeah, more times than not.
There's not a lady friend in your life right now.
No.
You're living at home.
Yes,
we know this.
Yes.
Okay. Well, master dating is you on, let's say, Friday night, you're going to have a master date. So you wake up and you've sent yourself a card and some flowers yourself that says, oh, baby Shea, I can't wait to get together tonight. Yeah. Then you go to work and everything. Maybe you leave a message for yourself, looking forward. You go out, you see your favorite movie, you go to your favorite restaurant, you treat yourself.
Yeah.
You go home, you've got a nice bottle of wine waiting for you. Watch a little
nice
TV,
movie,
whatever.
Yeah.
And then you pleasure yourself.
Yes.
You know? What a night. What a day.
That's sad. I don't ever want to get to that point. That's just sad to me.
Are really doing that. I mean, that was really a topic for a few days there. That was master dating.
I was thinking about recently, so I see people on social media talking about them with their significant others and stuff. I was thinking about doing something similar, but with myself.
Yes.
Like every time it's my birthday, like make a post about like I'm dating myself.
Yeah, well.
You know, like here's to another year with you, babe, and like take pictures of me being all candid and stuff like that.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Just like stuff
I love
like
this
that.
idea.
Yeah.
Here's the greatest guy in the world right here.
Exactly.
Happy birthday to
It's
the
like,
greatest guy in the world.
Why not?
You should do something like that. I try to get back on social. Well, I'm not a social media person, as you know.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that stuff. And I saw an idea of my weekend in 5 pictures, and I've had 2. My weekend.
Okay.
I've had 2 weekends in a row that would really work for. Usually, my weekend in 5 pictures is my feet in front of the television 5 times, 5 different shows.
Yeah.
You know, Friends, Golden Girls, Mom. The other, what's the one I watch all the time? The shows.
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank all the time. Modern Family.
Yeah.
Those are. But 2 weeks ago I took my son off to college. So that would have been good.
Yeah.
Last week was my daughter's birthday, so we had pictures of her. So I had 5 pictures, but 2 of them my daughter were in like blowing out candles with a birthday cake, and my wife said, "You're not putting that up on social media. We won't do that. She won't let me."
Really?
You know why? Years ago, when Facebook and Twitter were first becoming a thing, Oprah did a show that said, by the way, if you put your kids' pictures up there, creeps and pedophiles will look at them. Not only just try to get in touch. 1, they'll try to get in touch with them. 2, they'll look at them for their own pleasure. It's disgusting.
But I mean, it's the thing about it though is like kids are raised now with phones in front of their faces ever since they're small.
Oh, yeah. They do it.
I mean, you're either not on at all or you're on all the time.
We're on. I mean? We're not on at all. And then I decided, well, maybe I'll put a little smiley face over her face. I think it loses.
That's
punch. And how can I do 5 pictures, my weekend in 5 pictures, without putting my kid in it? It's like she's part of it.
Exactly. That's a whole part of your life now.
The other thing about kids and how they grew up, we were commenting on this the other day about the that tragic shooting in Chapel Hill at UNC, which, the guy, one person killed a professor. But when the students came out, they were being interviewed by the media calmly because they've been trained for it.
Exactly.
It's disgusting.
It is weird because I remember vividly remember Columbine happening.
Oh yes.
I was 7 at the time.
Yeah.
And just that was the biggest thing in my head.
God.
Like, I can't believe this could happen.
Right.
And then now it's twice a year, man.
Oh, at least.
And it's sick, dude, that they have to deal with that.
And if you include not just schools, my God.
Exactly.
Well, there was that racist hate killing right before the UNC thing.
Exactly.
A guy just walked in and killed black people.
Yeah.
It's disgusting what we've become.
Man.
And the fact that my kids have to go through active shooter training. Listen, when I was a kid, we never would have thought of that. Of course not. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, it's awful. But the cat is out of the bag. And when Columbine happened, I just thought this is a one-off.
Yeah.
Well, then it started becoming so prevalent.
I got so ingrained. Like, I was reading books about. I've done so much research about Columbine.
Really?
Yes. It occupied my brain so much.
Really?
Reading books, watching documentaries. Yes,
because
I was
those 2
enthralled
kids.
by that.
One was the real leader.
Just the idea of the craziness of this is where kids are supposed to go as a safe haven. This is where kids are like at 90% of the time, and the fact that somebody could walk in and take advantage of that, knowing that they're there, especially another student who knows it just as well as the other kids do.
Makes you sick.
Like, it's just like I couldn't imagine that happening.
Time and time again.
It's
Sandy
so weird.
Hook, Uvalde, Texas.
Yes.
Chapel Hill. You hate to say it, a person died, and you say, well, thank goodness it wasn't worse.
Exactly. They could have been worse.
I mean, many times it's 20 from 5th grade.
Yeah.
It's so awful. I mean, we're just, obviously, everybody's
numb to it now, though.
Exactly.
That's the
If
problem.
it's not more than like 5 or 6 people, you're like, okay,
Yeah,
at least
could
it's
be
not.
worse. Yeah.
It's awful. And you never know. I saw these kids saying, "How at Chapel Hill? How can we ever feel comfortable in that classroom again?" And I was like, "You can never feel comfortable anywhere. I don't care if you're in a theater, if you're in a restaurant, if you're in whatever, you're a grocery store. Somebody comes in and starts shooting at any time.
That's traumatic for everybody involved. Yeah,
nutcases who just go and shoot people. Church doesn't matter. I think." Unfortunately, I think about it all the time.
I do
My
too.
kid goes off to college. Well, when you researched Columbine, what did you find?
Just a lot of just how the signs were there.
Yeah.
The signs were there, but at the same time, this is the first time anything like this had ever happened. And all the signs were there, and people were saying, "Oh yeah, these dudes are totally capable of this." Like
really?
we completely. Like other people who went to school there, like, yeah, we knew these dudes could have done something like that. Did we ever think they would? Absolutely not.
Man.
And that's just the crazy thing about it.
Well, there are kids in school. When I was in school, you think, well, he's a little off, but you never think he's going to do anything like that. The signs were that should the parents have known.
Of course, but I mean, this
so.
was in a time where these latchkey kids, man, they never saw their parents.
Well, that's what I was. I was a latchkey. My parents weren't. I came home, walked home from school.
Yeah.
That's true.
These kids were in the middle of America. They had video games, and I'm not blaming the media or anything like that, but that's just all that they had.
Do you think video games make people more violent?
I don't.
I do.
I don't.
I'm always in the minority on this.
No.
Let me tell you why. I'll tell you why. Here's my theory on this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you're here to hear this. No one else buys it.
All right.
Okay. When a show about chess comes on, I forget the name, Queen's Gambit. Sure. Did you watch it?
Yes, loved it.
Right, me too.
Yeah.
That's on Netflix for 6 months. People are talking about Queen's Gambit. The sales of chess sets go up 800%.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Top Gun comes out in 1986. Military, people trying to join the Air Force or Navy goes up 800%. They're influenced by this. So we realize that the media or a television show can influence you to do things. A show as small as Queen's Gambit makes chess sets sales go way up.
Yeah.
So why, if somebody playing a video game 10 hours a day, and many people do, why would that not influence somebody to do these kinds of things and realize, not everybody, but just one or two.
I was going to say, I wouldn't say that it necessarily doesn't influence people, but if you take into consideration the most popular video games on the planet, Grand Theft Auto, and some type of Call of Duty, where all it literally is shooting people over and over and over again.
Right.
Millions and billions of kids have played these games.
But you don't think that's led to some of these
I'm not
shootings
saying
we're
that it
talking
didn't
about?
totally,
Right.
but if you want to use that as an argument, then I feel like it should be happening at an even more alarming rate.
Well, you may be right about that.
And the fact that it's like, I'm not trying to put any of the things that have happened.
Yes.
They're all terrible, but I'm saying, like, if that's the argument, that it should happen more often
and
than
it's not. It's not that I don't think video games are completely responsible for it, but it does happen. If you say how many mass shootings have happened in America this year, it's more than the days of the year.
True.
If we're 200 days in the year, it's like 250 times it's happened. Now mass shootings, you say it's like 4 people, and if 4 people are killed in a Walmart in Oklahoma today, we'll barely hear about it, if at all. It'll be the last thing on the news.
Yeah.
And I do think that because you are so ingrained in the personal shooter, those Call of Duty games and Grand Theft Auto. Now, I don't think everybody's doing that for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think if you're already leaning that direction and you get real comfortable with a gun on screen, I do. But most people disagree with me.
Yeah.
They think you're going to either do it or not, and that doesn't
That's kind of the way I feel about it.
But they've done studies where if you... Like, they've taken smoking out of movies, cigarette smoking, because it leads to people looking at, it looks like the cigarette is good, I may go smoke, I feel like those kinds of things eventually get through to you. But I don't think they should take video games off the market or anything.
True, no, I don't think so
they
either.
do rate them, right?
Yeah.
They're rated R.
Yeah,
they're
and people know what they get into. The parents know what they're buying.
Well,
these
that's
kids,
the thing too. But like my kids play video games. So
but then again, I think it's a lot of the responsibilson of the parents or the adult figures in the kids' lives to sit them down and say, "Hey, this is not real."
Listen,
right?
I can't say my son did. My son played Call of Duty, but I turned off the blood.
Exactly.
Okay, I turned the. They said you want to turn the blood off. I said yes. I'm a responsible.
Is that a
parent.
feature?
That's a feature. You
I
can
did
turn
not
off-
even know. I don't
turn
play
off
video
the blood.
games.
I
So.
turned it off. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't either. I haven't played a video game since Pac-Man. And I said I'd played Tecmo Bowl on Nintendo.
Yeah.
And my quote was, "It will never get better than this," and it hasn't.
No, it hasn't.
How's that for you?
It's only gotten bloodier.
You know about that kid calling me a pedophile when I was my son. My son, when he was about 13, was playing video games. Now, I didn't even know See, when I was a kid, you just played Atari by yourself, or you had your friend over, you know, or Nintendo, and you had your friend over. Well, now, of course, you can play with somebody all around the country, you know. So I walk in to my son playing video games, and I hear this kid just out in space say some curse word. It's like, what is going on here? What's that? And he's like, wouldn't you like to know, you pedophile? And I look around and I say to my son, who is that? And he goes, I don't know. It's somebody
kid.
I said, who are you? He goes, of course you want to know, you big pedophile. And I'm just like, swinging at the wind because he's a disembodied voice.
He's probably in like Nebraska somewhere.
Yeah, and my kid had 2 or 3 friends. I said, does anybody know who this is? Or, no, we don't know who this is. Of course, I'm sure.
That online gaming is the Wild West, man.
God, really.
There's no rules.
And I said, are you kidding? And I said, I want your parents right now. He goes, you're not getting my parents' name, you pedophile. What are you going to do? Come right. And I was just like irate.
Yes.
And who could I even, you know, what can I do?
Who are you yelling at?
And he just, he thought I was just some old man. It pissed me off. I was ticked off.
That's where the audacity of these kids come from. Because they've been talking trash to people that are millions of miles away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing with online, like Twitter and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here's another thing I think that has been affected by, like, if you watch it, it affects you. I was watching, I didn't see much of it, but a little of Little League World Series recently, you know?
Yeah.
Well, some kid struck out another to end a game. He was from Curacao, I think. Well, as soon as he struck him out, he like starts pounding his chest like, that's right. And I thought, my God. I think it's because the NBA and Major League Baseball and football, that's how they do. You know,
me and my dad were having this exact same conversation. Things have changed so much. Oh, my gosh. The fact that every kid has 15 wristbands on, they step out of the box, they got to retighten their gloves, they got to readjust their elbow pads and stuff like that. And then when they get walked, they got to take 5 pounds of equipment off and throw it over the thing. I'm like, when we were playing, you wore batting gloves and you wore them the whole time. That was it.
It's Little League.
I know. It's like, I don't know, what knee problems do you have as a 7-year-old? You know what I'm saying? You're in peak physical condition right now. What are you wearing this for?
It's not going to get better.
Yes.
I can tell you that.
And yes, the whole fist pumping, I don't mind that for the pros. I think it's part of the game. But, dude, you're 12.
But they watch the pros. And like when, they used to teach a little thing called sportsmanship.
Exactly.
You know? And they don't anymore. And like now, even, was it Patrick Beverly who... In last year's one of the NBA games, like LeBron James, he scored LeBron James and like sunned him. Yeah, and it's like you're talking to LeBron James, who is 1,000 times a better player than you, and you're going to sit there and do that. I mean, come on.
And that's what I'm saying. You just struck out a kid 2 foot taller than you from a third world country, and you're beating your chest for it. And that's what my dad was like. He goes, "If I was coaching these kids, man, I would have sent them to the bench. You ain't playing no more."
I hate that. Crap.
I'd have done the same thing. I'm like, no,
I hate that.
You strike somebody out, you go to the bench.
Well, and it was like, did you watch much of the NCAA women's Final Four? Do you remember that controversy?
Oh, a little bit. They're getting brazen out there, man.
They were. And, like one of the women from Iowa, I'm not going to know their names, but she did that thing, that little wrestling move where you put your...
Caitlin Clark, I think is her name. Yes.
And so everybody thought that's kind of cool, or I don't know, they championed. I didn't. I can't stand that kind of move. Then in the championship, when she was losing, black woman did the same thing.
Did the same thing.
And people called her out, so it became a racial thing. I didn't think, it was probably racial that they called this woman out and not the white woman. But what I would say is both of them need to say, hey, how about a little sportsmanship? Both I would say that. Now, I know I sound like an old guy here saying that, but that ticks me off.
Here's the thing. Most of the time, I would disagree with you. But when it comes to stuff like that, I do think tradition holds some weight. And I'm totally okay with saying, like, all the stuff that happens, I wouldn't have I wouldn't hesitate for a second to pull somebody out of the game.
Totally agree.
Get your attitude straight. And we'll put you back in.
I totally agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
You're embarrassing us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You should. You know what you should watch? I thought of you the other day. It was on. It's been out there for a while. It's called Yankees versus Dodgers: An Uncivil War. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. My dad was watching it the other day, though.
It was on ESPN. I guess it's been out for a while, but I watched it. Some of it, just a little bit of it. There was a famous game where they were in Fenway. Now I'm a Red Sox fan. You're a Yankees fan. So they're playing the Red Sox, and ball was hit, little flare into right field, and Reggie Jackson didn't hustle, or at least according to the manager, Billy Martin at the time, he didn't hustle, and he pulled him out of the game. Yeah. And they got into a fight.
Who pulls Reggie Jackson out of the game? You know what I'm saying? That's how it was, though.
And I have always thought, well, good for him, he wasn't hustling. But when I look at it now, it's like, well, he was playing deep, and he tried, there was no getting to the ball. Yeah. And Billy Martin really was spoiling for a fight. Yeah. He wanted because they didn't like each other. And Billy Martin was a drunk. I mean, he drank a lot.
I've got something that I watched the other day that I want to tell you about, and I want to tell the people about that I don't think is getting enough credit or recognition. Yeah. So, do you remember a few years ago there was this game on ESPN between two high school teams? The IMG Academy and Bishop Sycamore, and throughout the game they realized that Bishop Sycamore was a fake school.
They're not a real team. Yes. I've heard about this.
They released a documentary about it. It's on HBO. It's called BS High.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible.
Because they were not a real team and just got smoked by the other team, right?
56-0.
Yeah.
Yes. And they were supposed to be this huge powerhouse.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a real school.
And they weren't a school. And so you find that, because that story to me wasn't all that interesting.
Yes, but the layers into it, and it was all behind one man. One man was behind all of it. And the lengths that he went to like pull this scam off were incredible.
God, I hate scam artists.
I do too.
I do. Since I've been scammed, I lost thousands of dollars in a pine straw scam that I cannot go into.
Yeah.
But since then, and since I recently got scammed in a QR code scam, and I had to change all my credit card. You know about this?
No, I didn't know about that.
When I dropped, my son and my wife and daughter and I went to East Carolina a couple of weeks before he was going to school, and now he's there. But we were dropping off some stuff there. And we went to Sup Dogs, which is this hot dog joint there, which is really good. And when I parked, there on the pole was like, download the parking app and park, and there's a QR code. So I hit the QR code, and I put in my credit card information, and then as soon as I do, the screen changes to like download videos, porn videos, stuff like that. And I said to my wife, I don't think this is right. And she said, well, I already have this app, so I paid for parking. I said, okay, but you better watch. Well, 1 week later to the day, there's a $50 charge, almost 49 something, on our credit card for some video, and the credit card company flagged it. And I know that's what it's from. So you get
sick, man.
Well, you know the thing, you don't use QR codes like in restaurants or at parking places like that, because he's scam artists.
Yes,
makes me sick. It's disgusting.
But if you get a chance, check out the documentary.
I will watch that.
It's absolutely incredible.
But I have to add it to the list. There's so many. Have you seen The Bear?
Love The Bear.
I've heard that's great. The Bear. I heard The Last of Us. It was really good. Have you seen that?
Yes. Well, some of it.
Did you like it?
It's not my style.
Really?
Not my style.
It's like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, not my thing. Yeah.
Did you watch Walking Dead?
No.
That was good for a while, and then
that ran its course quick,
big time,
overstayed its welcome.
I would say 2 to 3 seasons, and after that,
because there was a point in time where people were like, "Oh, what's better, Breaking Bad or The Walking Dead?" And I'm like, that kind
Breaking Bad did not overstay its welcome.
No, it did.
It was
five seasons,
5 seasons and done.
Get out.
They shouldn't have done that movie, from what I'm told.
Nope.
Afterwards,
no.
And even Better Call Saul was excellent. So they say,
absolutely.
I hear it's great.
Well, speaking of games,
now, okay, you said you wanted to play a new game.
I got a game for you. Well, to start it off, how would you rate out of 10 your knowledge of Shakespeare?
3.
Okay.
Not good.
How would you rate your knowledge of hip hop?
2.
All right, well, this is going to be great. This is called, is it Shakespeare or hip hop? So I'm going to read you a song lyric.
Yes.
Or a part of a sonnet from Shakespeare, and you have to tell me whether it's Shakespeare or hip hop.
Okay.
And I'll give you extra points if you can name where it came from. You probably won't name the rapper. Let's just forget about that.
This is going to be tough.
Okay.
That's going to be very tough. Are you sure you don't want to play overrated, underrated? That one, I'm so much better at overrated, underrated.
We'll see how it goes. We'll do a few, and if it's just terrible, we'll stop. All right, cool. Here's the first one.
Yeah.
Bitch, real G's moving silence like lasagna.
Well, that's going to be hip hop.
That was actually from Romeo and Juliet.
No.
I'm just kidding. All right, it's cool. All right. Here we go. This is for real.
I know Romeo and Juliet.
All right.
That's my favorite one, by the way. That's the only one I remember.
How can you ever destroy the beauty from which one came?
Oh, that's good. I'll say hip hop.
That is hip hop. That was by Jay-Z. All right.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Right. I was not born under a rhyming planet.
Hip hop.
That is Shakespeare. Much Ado About Nothing.
Okay.
All right.
That's tough. That's very tough.
Yeah. Okay, I got a couple more for you. Yeah. All right. Broken dreams flying away on the wings of the obscene.
Oh, that's hip hop.
That is hip hop for sure. Absolutely.
Got a real hip hop feel to it now. You should give me some Eminem. I'm an Eminem, or a Young MC, or MC Hammer.
Maybe it's hatred I spew. Maybe it's food for the spirit.
Ooh, Shakespeare.
That's Eminem.
Get out of here.
Promise. Yeah.
Did I tell you my funny Eminem story?
No.
I don't tell many funny stories, but this one, I just mentioned this the other day. Last year, Hard Knocks was on HBO on the Lions, the Detroit Lions. Here's how out of it I am. Okay. Here's how little I know. Eminem was a guest like at their practice one day.
Yeah.
And they didn't put like on the screen Eminem. They said, the voiceover guy said, the man who came to practice is a Detroit legend and needs no introduction. And they show him, and I'm like, well, I need an introduction because I don't know who that. And all the players are like, there he is, there he is. And they go over and they're getting selfies. I'm like, who is that guy? He's this little white guy. I didn't know. All these linemen are over there. I was like, who is he? They never said until the very end. I watched the whole episode. They do like lose yourself at the end, and there he is. It's like, oh, I was like, oh, it's Eminem. Okay. I don't know that stuff.
Also, speaking of Hard Knocks, I am totally not convinced that that's Liev Schreiber narrating.
It's unbelievable.
And the fact, so have you seen this upcoming season?
No, well, a little bit. The Jets.
Yes. So he is actually on the show. They bring him out.
Somebody told me that. Like in a helicopter.
And then he's sitting there talking. I'm like, that's not the same guy.
How does he do that?
There's no way.
I never knew it was Liev Schreiber. From Scream. He's in the movie Scream.
Absolutely.
Cotton Weary.
Completely different voice. I don't get it.
I don't either. And it's a great voiceover. I mean, he's a great voiceover.
He is incredible. Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't even know he was, was like that.
Those of us that want to do voiceover work, you can forget
we'll
it.
never get a chance because
I'm
Liev
available
Schreiber.
for voiceover.
Liev Schreiber's killing it out here.
Between that and artificial intelligence, you're never going to.
Oh, my God.
A friend of mine, his son he goes to a school called School of the Arts, and you have to have a concentration on like directing or screenwriting or whatever it is. And he just changed to screenwriting. And my friend thinks that's a bad movie. Tried to talk him out of it because he thinks movies are going to be written by ChatGPT in 5 years.
Yeah.
That it's not even going to be, there are going to be no screenwriting.
I'm holding out a little hope that it doesn't, though. I'm holding out a little hope that remains human. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I may have told you, I saw a news report recently about that, and you say, like, write me a poem about 2 characters, and it does it in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So do you think it'll become so advanced, and it probably will, where I say, all right, here are 8 characters. Write me a movie, a drama that lasts 2 hours about these 8 characters. And do you think within 10 minutes you'll have a movie script written?
Probably.
But it'll be terrible. But eventually it might be better. And if I do that 10 times or 100 times, well, eventually I get one that wins the Academy Award.
Possibly, but I feel like there's got to be a human element. There's got to be some sort of a bit of the human condition in there that really makes something real and believable.
I know, I hate.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because a computer can't really go through what a human goes through. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that it's going to have that touch on there.
It has to. How do you feel about, you're a sports fan, like eliminating umpires for balls and strikes and making it?
I think it's eventually going to happen.
Have I asked you that before already?
I think so. I think it's eventually going to happen.
Am I repeating myself again?
No. Also, what's this about you trying to quit fantasy football? That's what I've been wanting to ask you about for a minute.
I was on the beach a few months ago, and I thought, I'm just going to let all that go. It takes too much of my time.
I knew it. I knew that's it. So you were on vacation, and I get a text from our commissioner, the commission. It goes, man, Kelly's trying to get out of fantasy football. I'm like, he's on vacation. He's thinking about his life. He's trying to throw away excess. He's trying to appreciate the moment.
You're right.
And once he gets back in the rat race, he'll be back in the game.
Exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I'm back. We have a draft this week.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
I imagine you were sitting on the beach going, you know what? What's the point of all this?
I was
It's just stupid. It's a game.
I know,
It's a game, Chris.
Over the horizon. And within a day, I was like, all right, I'm back. As soon as I got back, I was like, okay,
You know what's funny? I actually called a buddy and was like, hey, man, Kelly's out of league. Do you want in? And he goes, yeah, I'll be in. And then Matt texts me later and goes, Kelly's back in.
Yeah,
it's like, sorry, bro.
Sorry, I'm out.
Sorry,
you
man.
leave your spot.
Yeah,
and, that's
exactly.
Right. That's
It's
right.
taken like that.
I had to do it. I just can't let it go.
It's too fun, man.
It's too fun.
It's too fun.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
This has been fun. I've enjoyed this. Is there any overrated, underrated you want me to do before we go?
You know what?
I liked your Shakespeare or versus hip hop.
Maybe if you were more versed in
I don't know
hip-hop.
either.
It's
I
all
just
good.
don't know either.
It's
I
all
really
good.
don't.
I want to know what you think about returning the shopping cart.
Oh, it's an absolute must. I do believe a couple of years ago it came out that if you don't return the shopping cart, you're a psychopath. That's
agree.
the one question.
Yes.
And I hate people that don't return the
I will
shopping
go
cart.
above and beyond to make sure people see me take the cart back.
It's awful when people don't. I even kind of straighten them up when I'm out there.
Same. Yeah.
I hate that.
I have been like, I've wanted to, especially when it's really busy, like go ahead and just take 10 of them in. But I'm like, I don't get paid to do that. And honestly, when I see an older person walking out, I wait. Till they're done, and then I take it from them and go inside.
I got scammed recently at Costco with a shopping cart. I was loading my stuff into the back.
Why are you getting scammed so much,
I'm
dude?
such an easy mark. Look at me.
You got to walk around looking pissed off more. You need to get some headphones. That's what you need to do.
Well, this guy, I'm unloading my shopping cart,
Yeah.
and a guy comes up and says, "Can I take your cart for you?" And I thought, well, maybe he works here because I was just looking down at the stuff.
Yeah.
Or many times I've given it to somebody who's walking into the store because I'm done, or
Yeah.
vice versa. It's like, hey, you want this cart? And that way I don't have to take it to the corral.
Sure.
You take it. And I said, yeah, give me 1 second here. And I'm loaded. And then I look at him like, oh, God. I could tell he wasn't a customer or worked there. And he goes, man, I've been out here gathering carts for the last 2 hours just trying to get something to eat for me and my daughter. And I was like, oh, God. So I handed him $5,
Well,
because then I've already agreed to it. He's
yeah.
got his hands on the cart.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm an
he
easy mark.
volunteered. Why?
I know. I'm an easy mark.
Why do you have to pay somebody volunteering their time?
Well, he was volunteering, but he wanted he wanted some cash.
You don't know him nothing, man.
I know, but I'd already said yeah. I just gave him. Of course, I gave him $5, and that was it. I do that all the time.
Okay.
People, I'm such an easy mark, but I do think the cart has got to be put.
Got to put it back.
I mean,
you
it's
got to put
awful.
it back.
All right, that's a good square in the
Yeah.
round. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Everything from, and there was a lot of serious stuff on here today. All right. And did I have any hot takes today?
The Adam Sandler bit, that was a hot take
You
for
think
me.
that's a hot
yeah,
take
you
for
said
me?
you don't like Adam Sandler movies.
I felt like my hot take was something else, but maybe you're right. Maybe that was the
I think
hot
that
take.
was the one that I remember the most.
Maybe I'll get a better one next week.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great week. The Square in the Round.